Hey guys, Doug Lorcana here, back with another Raid of Jafar tier list video. This time we're covering Emerald. Good amount of cards in here. Good amount of decent cards in here. A very large percentage of them are playable, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm not gonna spoil too much before we get into it. So we'll start off. Wilhelmina Packard, 3 cost, 3/4. This is from Atlantis, I believe. Good vanilla card, but fortunately D tier just because the fact that it is a vanilla means it probably won't see play. Next we have Walk the Plank, 3 cost uninkable action. Your pirate characters gain Exert, banish chosen damage character this turn. I don't think that's... If it was inkable, I'd think it definitely has potential, but I'm not a big fan of it. Yes, it's a pirate tribal, and I love me some green steel pirate decks, but I think there's just better stuff there, especially in the uninkable slots. Next, we've got He Who Steals and Runs Away. It's an action, banish chosen item, draw a card. I think this is good, particularly in a red-green half shark kind of deck, because you can recur it over and over again. It can draw a card, doesn't have to banish something to draw the card. Good with airfoil as well if you're doing that. I think it's playable for that case. In that case, sorry. Next, we have Dawn Carnage. I'd like to cover Dawn Carnage along with Mad Dog, because Mad Dog is relevant. Sorry, Dawn Carnage is relevant to Mad Dog's text. Dawn Carnage, he's a pirate, prince, green steel, so decent stats for that. Sorry, decent traits for that color combo. But he's an uninkable 3 cost, 3/2 evasive, so that's 2 cost stats, and whenever you play an action that isn't a song, a chosen opposing character gains reckless during their next turn. I don't think he's super good, honestly. Good anti-aggro tech, but I feel like anything with steel just instantly blows him up. And yeah, I don't think he's quite there. And then Mad Dog is 4 cost uninkable. Sorry, 4 cost inkable 4/4 if you have a character named Dawn Carnage and pay 1 less to play this character. The annoying part about this is you play him at 3 ink, Dawn Carnage at 3 ink, and then you play Mad Dog. You would want to play him at 4 ink, but so reducing his cost doesn't really matter too much. Like, yes, you don't get a 1 cost in there. He is a pirate, so that's relevant for the pirate tribal. There's also the set, I forget which set, 2 or 3 Dawn Carnage, so that's a 5 cost. So then you could drop 2 Mad Dogs after. But, like, Mad Dog, I don't know. I don't think he's good enough. And either of these cards, I don't think, are good enough to be considered playable. Moving on, we have Napoleon, another vanilla card, so I'll just drop him in here. He's a 3/6 though. That's very relevant stats. Very strong stats for limited, especially. Next, we have Honey Lemon, 3/3, 4 cost, 2 lore. When you play a Floodborn character, if you shift to play them, you can return chosen character to their player's hand. So it's a bounce effect. This is similar to the Muses, but it doesn't have ward, like as a 4 cost bouncer. Also, you can't play a Floodborn character. Actually, you can technically play a Floodborn character and Honey Lemon together on turn 3 in blue-green. And that's the only situation you can do that is if you play turn 1 Diablo, then turn 2 Ramp, and then turn 3 Honey Lemon, and then you shift in the Diablo for free. And also, what's the blue one? It's Olaf, isn't it? I don't think there's a blue or green 1 cost Olaf, is there? Actually, I think there's one that's set. Where are you, Olaf? There he is. Yes, there is one. So that is relevant. It's got potential, but honestly, I think it's just trying to get the stars to align a little too hard. I'd rather just play Muses. Post-rotation, it might be something, but for now, it's D tier. Next, we have Chempurse. Whenever you play a character, if you shift to play them, they gain +4 strength this turn. It's an item, which is relevant for blue-green decks, but you're not playing the Floodborn deck, where this would be relevant, and the blue-green deck the blue-green items deck at the same time. So it's D tier, unfortunately. Next we have Lewis. He's probably one of my favorite pretty bland. Not bland. He has an interesting effect, but like it's nothing crazy. He's one of my favorite cards in the set for that reason. He's one of those really honest cards. He enters play exerted. He's a 3-cost 4/3, so that's a 3-cost vanilla stat, but he enters play exerted, and the payoff for him entering play exerted is he gives an opposing character reckless during their next turn. So this kills a lot of things. Like, unless that character can sing, or unless Lewis can be removed in other ways, he's getting rid of that card. Like, that card's going to challenge in, and yeah, Lewis might die, but he's inkable, so you only need to play him when you want to. Next, we have Bill the Lizard. He is a 1-cost, potentially evasive 1/2. So, as for potentially evasives, he is better than Pascal in terms of stats, but Pascal's a lot more consistently evasive. Pegasus is also in this colorway, and whatever kills Pegasus also kills Bill in most situations, unless it's like a Tinkerbell or that new Steel Quickshot card, which we'll cover in a later video. But I think he's playable, and he's good and limited because you can play, or not necessarily limited, but like in, I don't know, in decks that aren't super strong. But yeah, I'm gonna put him in playable because I don't think he's quite good enough, especially compared to Pegasus, because they can just kill the damaged character or remove the damaged character with their own through bounce or something, and Bill loses evasive and he just dies as a 1/2. Moving on, we have Fred, 3-cost, 2/3, 2 lore. When you play him, banish a chosen item. This is a hero, Benja, in green. This card will see play. It's obviously not meta-defining, but this card will be played in any deck that wishes they had Benja in their deck. Sorry, in their color combo. Moving on, we've got Go-Go Tamago, Shift 4, 3/3, 4-cost uninkable, 2 lore, and when you play this character, if you shift to play her, you can put chosen character into their player's inkwell face down and exerted. Currently, there are 3 shift targets for Go-Go Tamago in this ink combo. There's the 2-cost 2/2 evasive one with the gain lore effect for each damage on opposing character from set 6, I believe. Azurite Sea. And then there's the new Go-Go in Sapphire, who is, when you play a Floodborn character on this card, you can put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. So, she has that shift target, and then there's also Morph, which is the 2/1 from Rise of Floodborn, that can let anything shift onto her. So the problem with her, in my opinion, is this means you're skipping, you're kind of committing to this Floodborn line. I think it's definitely playable. I think it definitely has potential if this Floodborn archetype thing in blue-green really begins to pop off. But the issue is you're hard committing a lot to having this happen. Like, it's kind of making the stars align in a lot of situations. Not always, but yeah. Next we have Archimedes, 3-cost, inkable, 2/2, 2 lore. When you play this character, you can banish chosen item. During your turn, whenever an item is banished, you may draw a card and then choose and discard a card. This is a really good card. Equal to Fred, in my opinion. I think most situations you want Fred, especially when you're just throwing him into a random deck. But Archimedes is good in blue-green items because you're banishing your popsicles often, so you can draw a card then choose and discard a card with Archimedes for that situation, which is really strong. So I think Archimedes will see play in those decks instead of Fred, but Fred will see play in most other decks that don't have that kind of item banishing. Next we have Stopped Chaos in its tracks. Sing together 8-cost inkable, return up to 2 chosen characters with 3 strength or less to each of their player's hand. This is inkable removal, somewhat board wipe. It's 2. If you are singing it with a Muses, at least 1. That's technically 3 bounces. And to note, this is a 3-cost or less, 3 strength or less, rather than 2 strength or less. So that's very relevant. I'm going to put it in playable. I'm not quite sure if it'll see play. Maybe it will though. It's definitely A or B tier. Maybe I'll throw it. I'll throw it into A tier. I think blue green will be playing this. Um, blue green bounce songs with muses, and also green yellow discard will like this card. I'm not sure if green yellow discard will play it, but it will like it, and it's definitely something they would consider and at least test. So, assuming one of those two likes the card enough, I think it's going to see play. Next, we have Gadget Hack Wrench, 3/2, 2 lore, 4 cost. When you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you may draw a card. So, good in blue-green. It's got that Inventor trait, which is good in blue-green. Well, not necessarily good, but something in blue-green. It also draws a card in blue-green almost always, because you're ramping with Sail. If you TPO into Gadget, you're gonna have less cards in hand than your opponent. Sail, I believe you would have to be on the play to have less cards than your opponent. Unless you sail into one drop that doesn't cantrip. So I think it's good. Grandma's better, less situational. Also doesn't die to storm. But I mean, who knows? Maybe post rotation it'll be there. It's definitely playable. I don't think it'll see play though necessarily. Moving on, we've got Jock, Attentive Uncle, 3 cost, 4 toughness, 4 cost inkable. That's a good stat line. And when you play this character, if you have 3 or more other characters in play, you gain 2 lore. This is good because I would say it's bad if it says he gets +2 lore, but you instantly gain that lore. And 3 or more other characters in play on turn 4 in Chernadog against a lot of decks, they're not removing your cards that early. So on curve, that you just gain 2 lore for free, as long as you don't greedily exert your characters too quickly. I think he's going to see play, especially in a Chernadog deck. Maybe even a purple-green aggro deck. Here we've got Flynn Rider next. He's a 4 cost and inkable, 1/4, 3 lore. When you play this character, whenever this character is challenged, the challenging player may choose and discard a card. If they don't, you gain 2 lore. He's a really good aggro card. The main problem with this is, of course, the 1 strength. So, yeah, that's my main problem with it. And also, in most situations, you can either afford to give them the 2 lore, or you can afford to discard the card. So, if this was inkable, I'd say it's very playable. But I think the fact that it's uninkable, it's D tier, unfortunately. Very good and limited, though. Next, we've got Hiro Hamada. I think this card is very good. But I don't think it's good yet. It's blue-green, so you're kind of limited. If this wasn't blue-green, oh boy, this would definitely be played elsewhere. But yeah, and note this character, the most blue-green Floodborn interaction is revolved around if they are shifted in onto another card, but this doesn't specify that. So he's a 1/3 on turn 2, which is good stats, and its effect is you can ready chosen Floodborn character. That Floodborn character is able to quest, is able to sing, is able to challenge. You can just ready it so it doesn't get challenged. I think imagine if that one Mufasa blue card was a Floodborn. This would just pop off with that. I think all it takes is one insane synergy with a Floodborn to come out, and it'll just pop off. Next, this is probably the best green card in the set, in my opinion. Basil. 7 cost inkable, 5/4, 2 lore. When you play this character, you can return chosen character to the player's hand. And whenever this character quests, chosen opponent discards a card at random. So, Genie on the Job is instantly what I think of when I think this card. The set 1 Genie, evasive, 3/4, 2 lore. And when you play this character, you can return chosen character to their player's hand. That's 6 costs and uninkable. So this is the same stats as Genie on the Job in terms of value, like 3/4 versus 5. 3/6 versus 5/4, and Wait, Genie on the Job. I'm forgetting. Is he 3/4 or 3/6? Anyways, this is inkable. That's the key part. And Blue-Green loves that because Blue-Green has a lot of very important uninkable cards that they have to be playing. Like, for example, Bend to My Will, Under the Sea, um, How Far I'll Go, etc. That sometimes you just want this Basil. And also his second effect, which Genie on the Job doesn't have, when you quest with this character, chosen opponent discards a card at random. The key part is at random as well. You can take the card that they were meaning to play the next turn, just through pure randomness. And its stats are really good on it, just in general too. So this is a will see play card. I don't think it's S tier quite, but it's almost there. It's like probably the best A tier card we've got here. I've been putting these with the purple cards, making sure I didn't do that elsewhere. But yeah, it's a really good card. Unfortunately, me saying it's the best card in Emerald this set means I don't think there's any meta-defining Emerald cards, unfortunately. Next we got Tipo and Chaka. Tipo is a 2-cost 2/2 evasive. This is vanilla evasives, and vanilla 2-cost 2/2 evasives see play elsewhere, like thinking the Red Daisy, thinking similar stat allocation, Sir Hiss also sees play. And then we got Chaka. When you play this character, if you have a character named Tipo in play, you can give chosen opposing character Reckless during the next turn. This is definitely a blue-green card, if it's good enough, which I don't quite think it is. I'd still rather play Grandma, but if the meta becomes too aggro that you have to play Chaka over Grandma, then sure. Chaka also synergizes a lot more with Clarabelle than Grandma does, because you get to draw an extra card off Clarabelle on curve. But yeah, I think Chaka has potential, and I think Tipo also is playable. So I'll put both of these in playable. I don't think Chaka is necessarily better than Grandma or Gadget, for that matter, or the Muses, but I think they're good. They're definitely playable. Next, we got Fred, Shift Target, Shift 5, 5, 6, 3 lore. Good stat line. Doesn't die to Zeus, doesn't die to Medusa, doesn't die to Brawl, doesn't die to Sisu, and it's Shift 5, so that's pretty strong. And one of this character quests, you can reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a Floodborn character card. Put that card in your hand and shuffle the rest into your deck. It's a draw on quest, which is nice, but like a lot of times you don't need that Floodborn. And you have to take the first one you see. I think it's decent in blue-green. I think it's definitely got potential, I'll say. Not necessarily going to be played, but yeah. He triggers himself too, which is nice. And then we've got Queen of Hearts, 2/3, quest for 3. If you have 5 characters with damage or more in play, this character gets an additional 3, so you can quest for 6, but 5 is a lot to have damaged in play. Which makes me think it's probably a little too unrealistic to pull off. I'm going to put it into has potential because, yeah, it's got that 3 lore. And it's inkable. Inkable aggro cards are pretty good. Red-green doesn't quite have the aggro shell ready for it, but yeah, it's got potential, I'll say. I don't think it belongs in D tier. Then we've got Alice, which synergizes with that Queen of Hearts card, actually. You can shift her in for 3, and whenever this character quests, put 1 damage counter on each other character. Doesn't include herself. I honestly think if it included herself, that would be even better, because that adds 1 more card to the Queen of Hearts total. Yeah, I think she's decent, has potential, but she's a 2/6, so she dies to Brawl and Sisu. But she survives Zeus. But I just think 2/6 on 6 for 2 lore just isn't quite enough. You can play her with, you can turn 6, play shift in Alex, play, quest with Alice, play You Came Back, quest again for 2 damage. For that kind of shenaniganry, I think it's got potential. Then we've got a blue-green item, Jeweled Collar, 2-cost inkable. Whenever one of your characters is challenged, you can put the top card of your deck into your inkable face down and exerted. This is good, in my opinion. I'm not super well versed in the blue-green item deck, but I think this is a card that definitely should be considered there. I'll put it in has potential, because I don't know that deck well enough to just automatically assume it's playable, but I think it's decent. Next we have Chip, 4 cost 3/2. When you play this character, chosen opponent chooses and discards a card. Decent curve after Prince John, similar to the Daisy Duck Musketeer. That is, I think, set 2 or 3. That's played in green-yellow, but this is in the same color as Prince John, so this might see play in green-steel, might see play in green-blue, might see play in red-green discard. I think this card is definitely going to see play, because that Daisy's already seeing play, and if the meta asks for a 3/2 instead of a 2/3, yeah, it's going to see play. Next we have Pull the Lever, sorry, Wrong Lever, wrong name, Wrong Lever, which I covered in my thoughts on it in my previous video, the Amber tier list one, the Amethyst tier list one, and it is a 3-cost inkable action, return chosen character to their player's hand, which already, if you ignore this part, that's already decent. It's Mother Knows Best, not a song, inkable, and then you add the put a card named Pull the Lever from your discard on the bottom of your deck to put chosen character on the bottom of their player's deck. This is good if you have Pull the Lever. I think this card's playable. I'm not necessarily sure if it will see play, but it's definitely playable for that reason. Just the fact that you can return chosen character to their player's hand, you can ignore the second part of the text, and I think that alone makes it playable. If Pull the Lever was better, this would definitely see play. Where do I have that? I think Pull the Lever is here. Choose one, draw 2 cards. Each opponent chooses and discards a card. I mean, this is also playable. So yeah, these two have potential to both will see play, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Definitely at least B tier. Next we have Tramp, 3/3 for 3. Decent stats. When you play this character, chosen character gains ward until the start of your next turn. That's really good. You play this to protect a Chernabog and Chernadogs. You can play this to protect, I don't know, something important in blue-green at the same time because you have enough ink to do it. Yeah, I think it's pretty dang good. I think it's A tier, and I think it will see play. Yeah, it's a shift target for this Tramp as well, which is relevant. On curve as well. And it also triggers, not these ladies, but the other lady effect. The previous set 1 cost. Next we've got Undermine, red-green, discard card, 2 cost, inkable, action, chosen opponent discards a card. Chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. This is very good. So what you can do is you can, for example, turn 2 Ursula Deceiver, turn 3 Prince John, turn 4 play Undermine and Sudden Chill. All of a sudden your Ursula swings for 3 and you're drawing a card for Prince John. I think this card's playable. I'm not necessarily sure if it will see play in this deck because it is an action. If this was a song, it would instantly go to will see play. But since it's just an action, not sure. But it's good. Then we've got Dormouse, 2 cost, inkable, 1/2, red-green. When you play this character, you can put 1 damage counter on chosen character. So this is Mosquito Bite on a stick. I do prefer Mosquito Bite, I think, simply because it can be recurred through action recursion, which is in green and in ruby with Maui Half Shark. Also, Mosquito Bite on curve can be played with another 1 cost, unlike Dormouse. If it was a 2/1, I think this card would be more playable. It is a playable card. You can play it and Mosquito Bite at the same time, but I would rather play Mosquito Bite because comboing the 1 damage for something like Ring the Bell is cheaper to do with Mosquito Bite than with Dormouse. And that's the reason I think it's not going to see play, but it is playable. Next we have Dale, 1 cost, 1/3, vanilla, but it's a 1/3 vanilla, which does see play. He also has a shift target in Amber, which is relevant. I'm going to put him in playable because I'm not sure if you will play him over the what's his name, the 0/4 There's a 0-4 vanilla 1 cost that might be better than this for a lot of situations, but I definitely think it's playable. And I mean, it's a vanilla card. So. Next we have Raya, legendary, 5/5, 2 lore, inkable 6 cost. When you quest with this character, you can pay 2 ink to ready another chosen character. That character can quest, that character can sing, that character can do whatever a readied character can do otherwise. Unlike, for example, Sven, that means you, like, or LeFou, this is like you came back on a character. What's a really cool strategy with this card is you can drop 2 of them. If you have 14 ink, these 2 can quest together, re-triggering on each other to get you from 0 to 20 in 1 turn if you have 14 ink. So, playable in blue-green. Also, like, just the effect itself is good. You can play it with that blue fossa as well to keep readying your ink. I think it's going to see play. And but might just be niche in that case. Like, the effect's really strong, but again, it's expensive. She has to survive a turn, which is she dies to World's Greatest Criminal Mind and then along came Zeus, which are both cards that are currently played in Steel Song, and Zeus and also in Purple Steel, and maybe even Blue Steel. But like, it's a good card, even if it isn't comboing. Being able to ready a character for 2 is really good. Moving on to the next card, we have Maui for it's a 4/4, 6 cost inkable. When this character is banished, choose 1, put 2 damage counters on all opposing characters. Good effect. Banish all opposing items. I mean, that's good into a red-blue item deck. And banish all opposing locations. Good into DKP, good into red-purple. And also good into location decks. And quests for 3, so you can't ignore it. This card's really good. The only thing I think limiting it is the fact that it's green steel, and green steel doesn't often get to 6 ink. But yeah, I think this card will see play. Just probably not in the green steel discard deck. We've got 3 remaining cards here. We'll cover March Hare, which I think is a very good card. 4 cost, inkable, 3/4, good stats. When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to chosen damaged character. So on curve, better than Dormouse, because its stats, unlike Dormouse, are good and relevant. And it deals 2 damage. So this isn't just a red-green card. You can play this in blue-green as well. You can play this in green steel, because there's ping and green steel. And what's good about this in blue-green, for example, is you can turn 2 Tipo, turn 3 March Hare, making your Tipo effectively challenge for 3, because your Tipo runs in for 1, and then you can deal 2 damage to that damaged character to finish it off. This is relevant, very relevant, and I think it will be playable. Honestly, you know what? I think it sees play. I think red-green definitely plays it, and I think blue-green, if you're playing Clarabelle's, this is good. Next, we've got Rapunzel. 2/5, 5 cost, legendary evasive. When she quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during the next turn. 2 lore. Also, I think a blue-green card. It just kind of puts your opponent on lockdown. Once you've got their board wiped through like Under the Sea or other means, you can drop a Rapunzel, and whatever they play, you just lock it down from being able to quest. Which gives you an extra turn to answer it over and over again, which is nice. It can also buy you an extra turn in a lot of key situations. I think the biggest weakness of this card is its stat line. If this was a 3/4, this card would be instantly in the will see play category, but because it's a 2/5, I'm putting it in playable, because it just dies to too much now. If it was a 3/4, yeah, it still dies to Zeus. Rapunzel dies to Zeus whether it's she's 2/5 or 3/4, but if she was a 3/4, at least she doesn't die to Brawl or Big Sisu. And that's the major difference. Yeah. Next, we have Captain Hook, Floodborn, Pirate, Captain, King, Villain. All of the favorite traits. 4/5, good stats. 5 cost, inkable. Love me some inkable cards. Shifts for 3. Has a very good shift target on turn 1. So instantly thinking, oh, this could be good in a green steel whole new world deck. And then as effect, once during your turn, whenever an opposing character is damaged, your pirate characters get +2 strength and resist 2 this turn. So yeah, you play him with a pirate deck, theme deck, and a whole new world. That's really strong. He quests for 2 as well. I think he has potential. I'm not instantly saying he's going to be playable because I don't know if this kind of deck really has the legs quite yet. But like, even if it's not a pirate deck, you can see play in a green steel whole new world deck, which has seen play before. I remember back in the right after Bucky was errated, people switched to and whenever Clarabelle released, people were playing whole new world green steel before they went back to the discard deck. But yeah, I think if either pirate deck pops off or if whole new world green steel pops off, he will see play. And that does it. That's all the green cards for the set. Let me know what you thought of my analysis of them. Please comment on any cards that you think were better than I ranked them, or any cards you agree with, disagree with. I'd love to see your comments. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please like and give me a subscribe. It helps a lot. So, yeah, everyone have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.